Satoru Gojo is the world's strongest sorcerer. If he really wanted to, he could turn the whole world upside down. Even his enemies can't hope to defeat him, they can only slow him down. And that is because of the massive power behind the deadly combo of his cursed technique Limitless and his 6 eyes that can see through all. But how exactly do these powers work? Well, it's actually kind of difficult to understand. I'll be honest, the first time I saw his powers in action, I was like, wow, that's really powerful. What the hell's going on? So in this video, I want to break down his powers and how they work, and let's start with his cursed technique, Limitless. So Limitless is an inherited technique from the Gojo family, and essentially is the power of infinity. That's right, this man is so broken that his power is literally infinity. And with just the base form of his power, it makes it so he cannot be hit by any attacks. This base form is called Neutral Limitless Infinity. And essentially how it works is when you attack Gojo, he divides the space between your attack and himself an infinite amount of time. So while you will get closer to him, it will never hit him, because when you divide by infinity, you will get closer to 0, but you will never get to 0. Pretty much your attack comes to a stop right before it touches him, because at that point, it's moving at such a minuscule amount it doesn't even matter. And this works with everything. Could be a physical attack, a projectile attack, all just gets divided an infinite amount of times and never actually touches him. So with that alone, it's already very broken, but there are counters to it. The only ways to counter it that we know so far are domain amplification, domain expansion, and special grade curse tools. Also, Gojo has to be activating the attack for it to work. So there is a possibility you could catch him with a sneak attack like Toji did. Now, as far as the other counters, first off, you have domain expansion, which once you are in someone's domain, all attacks will hit. So that way you're able to bypass Gojo's Limitless. Another option is domain amplification, which is a liquid-like shield that is applied to your body. And that shield actually imitates the effects of a domain. So by using that, you're once again able to bypass his Limitless. And then of course the final thing is a special grade curse tool that can bypass curse techniques. So with this base form of Limitless alone, although he's very strong, he's not unbeatable. But again, remember, it's not just Limitless alone that makes him super strong, it's the combination of that and his 6 eyes. It's because of the combination of these two powers and how he's advanced his techniques that makes him essentially unbeatable. So next, let's break down 6 eyes and what we know about this power. Now with his 6 eyes powers, we really haven't gotten a full breakdown of how it works like his curse technique, but we have seen him use it a lot, so we have a good amount of information on how its powers work. Essentially with 6 eyes, his perception and understanding of things and just overall ability to see things and know where things are, that's elevated to an astronomical level in so many different fronts. First off, he could just see very far distances, like he could fly up in the air and just kind of scope things out and know where people are. But beyond that, he could sense cursed energy to the point where he could determine who is who just based off of that alone. Like with Suguru Geto, he realized that was definitely Geto's body, but he felt like something was off. But even beyond that, he's able to understand things a lot better because of his 6 eyes. He's actually able to use his cursed energy so efficiently to the point that he essentially never runs out. So with this power paired with Limitless is kind of the perfect combination. He can sense vast distances, cursed energy, he knows when danger is coming. And because of that, he can activate his cursed technique, so essentially he's never in danger. Also, because he could use cursed energy so efficiently, he could keep using Limitless for a very long time. So these two combined together is incredibly effective, but he wasn't unbeatable, because there was still one more drawback, because although he could use his cursed energy really efficiently, the combination of these two powers made him tired really easily. So he still had a limit of how long he could use his powers continuously, and this was his downfall against Toji. See, Toji put together this plan to send a bunch of bounty hunters after him, so he would be using his powers around the clock. And then after he was drained and he lowered his guard, that's when Toji struck. And that's how Satoru Gojo almost died. But because of that loss, it gave him inspiration to study a technique that would change the game for him. And that was reverse technique, which after he learned that, he became completely unbeatable. Reverse curse technique is essentially being able to create positive energy. You see, at the base of it, cursed energy is negative energy that you use to attack. Reverse curse energy is finding a way to generate positive energy, and that positive energy has restorative properties. One of the best people at this is Shoko Ieri, who could actually use this to restore limbs of people. And on the brink of death, Gojo put all his powers into learning this technique, and he figured it out. It feels pretty simple, where it's just multiplying negative energy by negative energy so you get positive, but very few people in the story actually know how to use this technique. But yeah, Gojo learned that technique, learned how to heal himself, and because he learned this technique, he was able to use it all the time to counter his fatigue. Meanwhile, he advanced in other areas as well. He actually figured out essentially how to turn himself into a cyborg. By using his 6 eyes, he was essentially able to program Limitless to be automatic. He analyzes the speed, mass, and shape of different things, and he's able to figure out what's actually a threat. Beyond that, of course, he can also sense cursed energy to know what's a threat. And when he first mastered this, he said eventually he should be able to figure out a way to work in poison as well, which by now I feel like he probably did. So essentially, Limitless is now on all the time, automatically protecting him from all threats. On top of that, he's running reverse curse technique all the time to make sure he doesn't get tired. So with that development, a big part of his vulnerability is gone. But as I mentioned earlier, he's not completely invincible because there's still some counters. But those counters that we just mentioned, it's really difficult to master. Like, very few people actually can master domain expansion. I'm sure special grade curse tools are not easy to come by, and even with domain amplification, you need to be strong enough to deal damage to him. But that's not even the problem. The problem is Satoru Gojo can clap back, because so far all we've talked about is the base form of his curse technique. Beyond this base form, he has 3 more techniques plus a domain expansion, and we'll break that down in a little bit. But before we even get to that, you gotta realize this man is very physically strong as well. Like, with physical attacks alone, he's able to deal a lot of damage, plus he has an immense amount of cursed energy. Cursed energy that he's probably never gonna run out of anyways because of 6 eyes, but he still has a lot to use. And that massive amount of cursed energy could be used with his 3 techniques. First off, we have Strengthened Limitless Blue, which is essentially Reinforced Limitless. The technique itself is called Curse Technique Lapse Blue, and essentially it increases the power of Limitless and brings that negative energy to life. Pretty much it creates a negative space in this world, and everything else kind of gets sucked towards that. So the power of this technique itself is the power to attract, and he's able to use this as a close range or projectile attack. And because of how skilled he is, he's able to use it with precision, and pretty much anybody that gets caught up into this attack just gets crushed and implodes. And that's just a very simple version of this attack because he has a max level that he can go to. When he maximizes his curse energy with this attack, the attack becomes Azure Glow, and when that happens, it creates this single point which essentially just becomes a black hole and sucks everything towards it. So with that alone, he has a very strong attack. But after learning reverse curse technique, he learned red, and red is a reverse limitless technique using positive energy. Whereas blue was the power to attract, red is the power to repel. He's now able to create this red little orb and just blast somebody back like Team Rocket. The attack itself is called Red Glow, and pretty much is a very strong finger pistol. And once again, with those 2 powers alone, he should be able to deal with any opponent coming his way. But of course, Fushiguro Toji was built different, and he was not worried about those 2 attacks. He had a special grade weapon that could counter the Limitless, and with that weapon, he thought he could just deflect red, and with blue, he could kind of match it with his speed. But those are not the only attacks with Satoru Gojo, because there's one more called Hollow Purple. And purple is a technique that not a lot of people even within the Gojo family knows, because to use this technique, you need to know blue and red. Hollow Purple uses negative and positive energy from blue and red, and essentially it just erases everything in its path. It could either be this crazy attack of devastation or this incredibly pinpoint attack that erases anything he wants. So yeah, even if you do have some counters to Satoru Gojo, he could clap back very easily. And on top of that, the man's got a domain expansion as well. Within his domain, of course, none of his attacks miss, and you just get flooded with so much information at once that you can't process anything. And on top of that, because of how much cursed energy he has and how efficiently he's able to use it, he's the only person that could use domain expansion multiple times a day. And the final thing that makes him incredibly deadly is that he keeps getting better. He's so incredibly skilled, he was also able to use his domain expansion for just 0.2 seconds. So yeah, all that combined is why you can't really hope to defeat Satoru Gojo. But that's gonna be it for this video. I'm probably gonna be doing some more videos like this as well, so let me know in the comments who you want to see it on. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button. To keep up to date with this channel, you gotta hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Twitch at I'mDZach, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!